Well, you guys don't have a bedtime limit, do you?
No, we're
I'm
good.
a big
We're good. We're good to continue. We're good to talk about the last few Evil Dead stuff.
Yes.
All right. So, um, back to you, Countess and Mont Daddy. What were some of your favorite scenes? And I didn't ask about this in the other one. What was your favorite scene, and what was your least favorite scene in Army of Darkness?
All right. My favorite scene. Oh, okay. So I have like three.
That okay.
Um, so my favorite is when he's retrieving the book and
Nose up,
yeah.
Varacto.
But that's one of my all-time favorite scenes in the whole film. It's just funny seeing him struggle because he was not paying attention to what he was supposed to do when he got the
I
book.
wonder if that scene
Relatable.
was. I wonder if that scene was ad-libbed, and he actually forgot.
I hope so. But just seeing him struggle was just funny to me. Seeing, like that whole prosthetic with his face where it gets like
Oh,
pulled,
yeah.
there's pictures. You can find pictures on Facebook of the prosthetic, elongated mouth and arms when he's getting sucked
Yes,
into the book.
that was so funny. The second one was with his twin and the little ashes running
Oh,
around in the lighthouse scene. Um, and actually, no, I not. Oh, and the one scene where his twin is all um messed up, and he
Yeah.
grabs Sheila and he's like, "Give me some sugar, baby."
baby.
One of my favorite
Oh,
lines.
that's right. Deadeye, evil Deadeye Ash.
Yeah. So those are like my top three right there. My least favorite, I gotta say, it's probably when he's in the well,
Oh,
fighting. Yeah.
the Deadeye fight scene.
Yeah, it was a little very anticlimactic for me.
And
The
a little,
only like he
did it feel forced?
a little bit,
Yeah.
yeah. Like it wasn't necessary. But I mean, I guess to get the storyline going.
Like, hey, we're an Evil
Um,
Dead film. We need to show Deadites.
yes.
Yeah.
So I was just like, it was all right. Okay, it's there. I mean, it was funny how he got the chainsaw just in his in his
Yeah.
hand, but other than that, yeah, that was like my least favorite scene. Very forced. I don't feel like it was necessary.
Same question for you, Autumn. Favorite scene, least favorite scene.
I agree with the least favorite scene because it did feel so out of place. Like it really did feel like, oh yeah, this is a Evil Dead movie. We probably should put, the villain in it.
They showed
Um,
it. They showed it a little too early too, because in the other two, we didn't see any Deadites till like the last probably like 30-40 minutes of the film.
Yeah.
yeah, and it just didn't feel like it belonged there. It didn't feel like it was necessary. Like if they had cut that whole scene out, it it wouldn't have been, a huge loss in the film. And my
With
favorite scene.
Sorry.
What? What? You
No.
disagree?
Hey,
I disagree.
let me interrupt you. No,
Excuse me.
Objection.
it's just like almost like the only Deadite focused scene in the whole movie, which is so unfortunate.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the only. We see only two Deadites. The old woman who gets turned into a Deadite, and then
Yeah.
that waterlogged looking Deadite in the well.
Yeah. The rest are skeletons, basically.
Oh,
That's why I felt like it was just
and
so
there's
out of
also the
place.
Deadite. There's also the Deadite captain too during the battle scene.
Oh,
But it didn't feel like in the same way of the other two films, if that makes sense.
No,
Like,
no, no. I get it. Again,
yeah.
this was
Like we have
produced
like
by.
that whole well scene, if it didn't exist, it wouldn't have hindered the movie to be better or
Mm-mm,
worse. Like it was just very there.
nah.
My favorite scene, and this is just because of an inside joke that like my coworker and I have, is when he goes, "This is my boomstick." Like my coworker and I, we will grab like a broom or just whatever is random and just start screaming that. So that to me just always gives me kind of
This
a
is my
serotonin rush.
broomstick. There are many like it, but unlike yours, this one is mine.
Exactly. So that
Oh,
one I think was just for like my own self, my favorite part.
nice. Um, real quick, because I was looking up the actors. You all know the horror movie actor Bill Moseley, right?
Yes.
He
Yes.
played as Chop Top. He plays the Deadite captain in this movie.
Mm.
So
It's
yes,
good because I
Yeah,
actually see him
really?
at before cons all the
Yeah,
time.
he's
Chop,
funny.
yeah, Bill Chop Top Mosley, and also Otis Driftwood, and actor in many other horror films. Yeah, he plays as
You
as the Deadite captain in this movie.
You should look up the Texas Chainsaw Manicure because
Oh yeah,
he's also
his spoof is actually how he got to play as Chop Top in the sequel.
uh-huh.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I saw
that's a fun fact on
I
him.
saw that on Dead Meat,
Yeah.
which
That
was
movie
really
though.
nice. Oh, that has
That's
Well-
another segment.
oh yeah, Lux, same question. Favorite scene and least favorite scene in Army of Darkness.
I gotta go. I'm buzzing in on the least favorite as well. As well, no pun intended.
Meh, meh,
uh,
meh.
but I have two favorite scenes. The first one is obviously Ash versus Ash, Ash versus Evil Ash, because I feel like out of all of the Evil Dead films, this is like the only Ash scene in this film that feels like it could fit into Evil Dead 2 or
Yeah.
Ash versus Evil Dead or whichever Evil Dead, right? I feel like it could translate very well to those movies, no problem. And it's the most core of what the funny side of Evil Dead can do, as well as the special effects that all get put into that scene and the fighting, etc., etc.
Yeah.
And the very end where we go back to reality, and see
Oh, there goes
Ash
gravity.
just doing his job. I want it. Unfortunately, you hate to see it. I want to see more of Ash just doing his job, which they
Yeah.
cover in
Oh, yeah.
in
And
Ash
here
versus Evil
is
Dead.
the Deadite in the well with the spike trap.
Yeah.
Again, that's their second most biggest prosthetic thing they did since Henrietta and Evil Dead 2.
Yeah.
It really
Like,
looks a lot like the brother in Weird Science. At the
Mhm.
Oh,
very
Yeah.
end.
Oh yeah, and also
Yeah.
here is Evil Ash's makeup.
Mhm.
Yep.
Fun fact, they're both one was played by Bruce Campbell, another was played by Sam Raimi.
Oh my god, that's
Oh,
awesome.
and also here is Bill Moseley's Deadite captain makeup.
Oh, no wonder I didn't know he was in the movie. God.
You
I mean,
can't
also look at if you look real close, he's also wearing a white contact lens in the one eye.
Oh, so he's not seeing Jack Diddley.
No,
How about
that's a big like.
He's just
giant
like
big
literally has to
I
be like
seriously, I extend it to anybody. If you get the chance to wear mesh contact lenses, do it. Because I've had to wear a pair before, and it very much is like looking through pinholes. Like
Oh.
you see shadows.
You know,
That's
I've actually worn like full blind contacts when I first started cosplaying. I did Toph from Avatar. They're blind
you legit
completely. So
cannot see, and I
yes,
imagine
they're full whiteout contacts, and I didn't realize this when I bought them. I thought they were kind of like the meshy ones, but
Mhm.
no, I was full on blind. I was being guided the whole time during the con, just having these contacts, and I could not see anything for that whole day.
Oh yeah, no, and it also depends on the lighting too, because I was told by a cosplay friend of mine who I interviewed at a con that they said for anyone who ever wears blind contact mesh at once, be at your house first. It also depends on the lighting. The brighter the building or whatever room you're in, the better. But the darker, you are gonna be running into shit.
Oh, yeah.
Or
Yeah.
as I made the joke, you may fall into a trash can.
Yeah.
Literally. I mean, they're fun, they look great, and I feel like that's a big staple for Deadites as well in the films.
And TV
But
show.
yeah, in the TV show, yeah. But
See, it's great because my friends are so caring of me that whenever I do have to wear those contact lenses, I have one on each side of me to kind of guide me, and I always seem to end up at the top of a staircase. So
Ooh. Coming from someone who who's coming from someone whose vision's complete shit without my glasses, I can attest that if you can't if your vision if you're not wearing your regular glasses and you're walking down a flight of stairs, there's a chance you can lose your footing and you're almost eat shit. Trust me.
yeah,
Definitely.
especially when your friends put their hands on your back and just push you, like
Trust fall.
can't imagine many times that's happened to me. Like
Oh jeez.
if
but
you
yeah.
can't see yourself, how you gonna see somebody else?
But yeah,
can I get an amen?
oh, yeah, man. But yeah, back to you, Lex.
No.
So your least so you talk about your least favorite. What's your favorite scene from Army of Darkness?
The end
Oh.
credit. No I'm kidding.
Yeah, probably the scenes between the ashes and the very scene at the end where we go back to his day job, because I that's what I wanted more of, even though I still liked Army of Darkness. That's what I wanted more of. I wanted to see more of just Ash's day job and what he does. It's like,
We could see more of
I-
that in the Evil Dead series.
oh,
Yeah.
100, like, and that's what's so cool is that we finally get that. And Army of Darkness just gives that little taste at the very end where you're like, oh, okay,
Yeah,
and
so
then
he's been working at Shops S Smart since 1993.
It's funny because I don't think horror people, like when they make these films, realize that us as like the viewers, those are kind of parts of the characters we actually do want to see.
Little
yeah,
backstory.
Like a little everyday life type of like, what are they doing? What
like
do they do?
like Superman and Clark Kent.
Yeah.
yeah, like the killer. So okay, I'm sorry, not to sidetrack for a second. Like the killer's perspective, we were talking about Scream 6, and if you haven't seen Scream 6,
Oh,
Go
I
see
already. No, we're not gonna spoil, but I read the whole entire plot on Wikipedia.
it's so fucking good.
Mm.
It,
Nev Campbell.
it's
All I just have to say is Nev Campbell was done dirty.
she was done dirty. She was done very dirty. But I take solace in knowing at least like the creators of this movie know that it's not her, and she
Oh yeah,
knows
no,
it.
they even wrote her a letter too.
Mm-hmm. But we were wondering like, what is Ghostface doing while he's just waiting for the people to come back to the apartment?
He's not in a recliner?
He's probably just like this, like on his phone, like
Just scrolling, chilling, scrolling through TikTok.
posting on the serial killer version of Facebook.
I thought we saw him in a scary movie. He's in a recliner making prank calls with a bag of Doritos and a fucking 40. Like,
Okay, that is my official headcanon of what Ghostface is doing when he's waiting for his next victim.
I will hate to say
Just-
this,
just-
but
just
the
get
first scary movie I like more than the whole Scream franchise. Like,
Oh,
I am
yeah.
sorry.
Hey,
That's-
that's
Wow, hot take.
that's
That's
fair.
another segment.
So before we talk about more of this movie, I gotta say this is the one movie where probably a quote I use daily when I'm playing video games and I'm driving a vehicle, when the mini ashes have the fork and they say ramming speed.
Yeah.
That is my favorite to this day. That is my most. It's because of that movie. I love using that quote when I'm playing video games or I'm just like bored out of my fucking mind. It's ramming speed when they're running with the fork to poke Ash in the ass, when they're poking Ash's ass, the Ash ass, America's ass.
Just don't
Bruce
use
Campbell's
that to get a
ass.
hookup.
Yes,
Oh.
for America.
But yeah, no, that movie, I'll admit, is a hot mess, but it's a good hot mess.
Yeah. It's one of those films that it's so bad and cheesy that it's what makes it good. And it just makes you want to keep watching it again, because I love revisiting that movie constantly. Like just 1 through 3. 3 is the one that I just like can't. I will put it on
I
willingly.
feel like you also don't have to know the series to enjoy that film.
Yeah.
Oh no, Army of Darkness, I feel like it's just its own thing.
get
Yes, it has the Evil Dead IP, but at the same time, it's like, yeah, this is its own thing, and it would be just like the first 2 Evil Dead films, and this one would be considered canon in the Evil Dead series, which we'll be doing a quick little recap after we talk about this film. Also, oh God, I lost my fucking train of thought again. God damn it. Oh yeah. So if you guys seen Evil Dead's kill count of this, you will know that there was going to be a different ending to this film where Ash comes back and the whole world is just destroyed.
Yes.
But test audiences didn't like that. I think that was the director's cut or the theatrical version.
Uh,
was
shoot,
director's cut.
director's cut, I think, yeah. Because it's
Yeah.
just a scene. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just he comes back and everything's just just gone and destroyed. Which honestly would have been really because if we had originally got that scene, we wouldn't have gotten the Evil Dead series.
True.
If you're thinking
True.
about it. So yeah, Countess and Mott Daddy. Initial thoughts altogether on Army of Darkness. I want to keep on calling it Evil Dead 3.
I do the same thing. I'm always like, let's watch the third Evil Dead. And she's like, no, it's Army of Darkness.
Yeah, it's a standalone.
It is kind of
I
standalone.
think if you're not into horror of the sense of like the gore, but you do kind of like the thrill and the fantasy side, it's a good movie.
Horror adjacent.
Yeah.
Horror
For
adjacent,
me,
yes.
in my
I had to throw a pun in.
I heard. Me and my personal taste, it's not my favorite. I'll watch it if it's on, but I'm not willingly grabbing the DVD. I'm grabbing the second one.
Fair
No
enough.
amount of weed in the Mary Jahuni, the fucking powder or the drinks can make me change my mind on it being my first.
Fair enough.
Okay.
Yeah.
For me, like I've stated it, y'all, it's one of my favorite, in this, like the whole little franchise. It is very much a standalone, you do not need to know about the other ones. It's funny, it's, very cheesy fantasy. Same, it's not very horror based, but
It's not meant to be taken seriously.
basically, yeah, you get little snippets. It's like cracking fun of the other ones almost,
Yeah.
So it's one of my favorites. I like Bruce here in his Fabio era, excuse me, Fabio era.
This is definitely Bruce's Fabio era because we get to see a lot more shirtless Bruce in this one.
I
Definitely.
feel like if they had put more of horror aspect in the film, I would have found it more enjoyable because I do like Leprechaun, the Evil Bong, Ginger Dead Man. Like those films aren't to be taken seriously.
Oh, and
at all.
Jack Frost.
And Jack Frost.
Yeah.
But it's the fact that they have that little oomph of horror in it is what makes it enjoyable as myself as the viewer for like me. I know everyone's different, but like I felt like if they had added more of the killing or like just dark side of it, it would have been a better balanced movie for me.
And they did have plenty of opportunities, but I feel like they wanted to maybe like take a different spin.
Again, this
round?
this is the only Evil Dead out of all the Evil Deads that was rated PG-13.
Yeah.
Before I go into Lux, again, Countess and Mont Daddy, do you think in today's society that if Army of Darkness was to be remade, do you think it could be a straight up horror fantasy film?
I feel if it was remade, they would have to be very careful because of how it's set up already, because they could go the opposite route, which I'm kind of scared of for this new one coming out in April, that they might make too much of a horror in it when it is supposed to be something kind of lighthearted and funny and comedic that can destroy the elements that made this one so charming.
Yeah, same question, Mont Daddy. Do you think and how it is today with horror films? Do you think if they would, do you think it'd be worth making a Army of Darkness remake and go more horror based like the previous two films?
I mean, it definitely does have the opportunity to be more horror based for sure. But like Autumn said, it's you got to be very careful because the comedic aspect of the film is what makes the film so great and so funny that you just want to keep watching it. So yes, you can add, more, spooky, to it, but you could lose what made the movie so great to begin with.
Oh yeah, I wholeheartedly agree.
I think it is worth making a third one. I'd rather see a third one made than this new one coming out, if I'm being completely honest.
Because this is a second this is not like a reboot. This is like its own thing with the
Its own
Evil Dead name,
standalone.
with the Evil Dead name.
Because I feel like if it was to be remade with more of a horror element, it would be very Freddy versus Jason vibes.
Ooh,
Mm.
that,
Yeah.
that's like going in the 2000 eras when horror films were like where film companies like, yeah, you can make horror films that show bodies being ripped apart, bones being broken, necks being completely turned 180. Like
But
you don't see a whole lot of that nowadays. It's more suspense jump scare horrors like It Chapter
Yeah.
1 and 2.
I think though with the and we'll talk more when we go into Ash versus the Evil Dead because it actually did have the elements if they were to pull from that to remake the third one, I think it would do excellent with the
Yeah.
balancing of it. It's just
Yeah.
I really don't want them to go how I'm fearful the one in April's gonna go, where they lose that element of comedy, that cheesiness, that campiness, and just focus on jump scare horror, suspense, suspense, suspense. Because then it becomes kind of annoying to watch, in
Oh
my
no,
view.
I'm with you on that 100%. Look, same question. Initial thoughts altogether on Evil Dead. I mean, I want to just call it Evil Dead 3.
Evil
Dead.
Dead, Army of
Army
Darkness.
of
Evil Dead.
Darkness.
See, yeah. What's your thoughts on Evil Dead Army of Darkness?
I think overall, great selection in the B. Great selection for a movie that you want to show your friends at a party. You know, where you're all a little enhanced. You're all enjoying your experience a little more. Definitely probably on my top 10 uh B movies of all time. Probably in the top 5 category, TBH. For how ridiculous and campy it is, and it really just pushes the boundaries of what we understand to be the Evil Dead. And I would really love to see if there is a world where the next like Evil Dead could explore another time period.
I have seen things posted on Instagram and Reddit about that.
About them going to a different time period.
Yeah, like there were more of just like fans like saying, "Oh, how I would love to see one in this time period, that time period."
Yeah.
It could
Evil
easily
Dead versus Jurassic Park.
it could honestly seem like an Evil Dead take place in like feudal Japan or something, or
Okay, yeah.
Europe or something would be interesting to see.
Yeah, because I mean, we already got like the medieval times experience with it. So.
I would like to submit for commission an Evil Dead film that is filmed entirely in black and white and is set in the suburban 50s.
Ooh,
Can I get one in space?
that one should be interesting. So
I mean, we got
now,
Jason in space.
so now we're gonna kind of skim through because we're gonna skim through the Evil Dead reboot, which came out in 2013, which, in my opinion, is probably when again this is like mid 2010s when you were still seeing a lot of body horror in a
Yeah.
sense. So I know Moth Daddy and Countess, you saw it. So what from what you saw, what were your thoughts when you saw Dead Meets Kill count of it? Because I'm not sure if Moth Daddy, did you see the film or did you
I've
both?
seen it. Yeah, I saw
Okay.
it.
I'm the one that didn't watch it because with a lot of movies, the remake of Nightmare on Elm Street's the reason I am this way.
Basically, it left a sour taste in your mouth.
Yeah.
Nightmare on Elm
not
Street,
in a
the
good way.
remake, was horrible. So whenever I see a remake of a film or something, I'm very skeptical coming in. And something in my gut was like, they're promoting this way too much. It's probably gonna suck ass.
Oh yeah, the 2010s were the year of you had Texas Chainsaw, Friday the 13th,
I saw
Nightmare on Elm Street. Like it was just the year of reboots up to like
Yeah.
from like 2000
Yeah.
like 2000 like 9ish up to like 2013 was like just the year that 3 years was just a year of reboots.
And around that time, I was
Gary. Oh, Carrie. I forgot about Carrie.
Oh yeah. Okay. Well,
Yes.
Carrie was
Oh
like
my god.
later on,
And
but
then they
still,
made a second Carrie. What the hell?
but yeah, it was the 2010s were just the year of
Bad
re-
reboots.
bad reboots for
Yeah, so
sure.
this was one of the ones I didn't really choose to watch. So I watched the kill count. Whenever I see movies, I'm like, I'll watch the kill count. If it really does spark my interest, I will go back and watch the whole film. So it's not going to bother me, unless it's something I really, really want to see, like the Scream movie. I'd rather watch it good or bad in its entity. And from what I saw, it was very mimicked, but there was a lot of things that I didn't find enjoyable enough to actually want to sit down and watch it.
Yeah, the film, its budget was $17 million, and its box office made almost close to 100 million.
I think
Think
it was just the hype.
The
Oh
hype
no,
of it.
the film got a lot of, like, you can even watch, I remember it was just on TV, the scene where Ash's sister was singing, they're gonna get you, they're gonna get you, when she's underneath yeah. Uh Same question for you, Mont Daddy. What were your thoughts when you first saw the 2013 reboot?
So when I first, heard about it, I saw it, I got excited because again, love Evil Dead, and I was hoping it would keep some of the comedic value of the actual, old school films. And obviously it didn't, it went on a completely like horror based, we want this to scare the living shit out of you.
Oh,
But
it definitely
I
got me
Which
mean,
they
jump scared.
succeed in doing.
I mean, I'm desensitized to that. But I didn't enjoy it. It was not my favorite. I feel like it missed out on a lot of good, opportunities. Um, the iconic scene where she's in the cellar. I mean, that's the only thing that I was like, oh,
That's the
okay.
one thing the trailer like definitely glorified.
Yeah, and
Oh,
I feel like
oh yeah.
yeah, definitely. Um, and also the way, that they do the iconic how they lose the hand. I feel like that was so rushed just to kind of get it in there too.
Mm-hmm.
But like
I
all in
will,
all, it was like my least favorite. Like maybe if it would have been like not part of like the Evil Dead and more like a standalone, I would have been like, okay.
I will say one thing though, and this is probably how I'm gonna feel when we do watch the new one coming out. I don't feel like it's Evil Dead without Bruce Campbell. Like, I'm sorry,
Yeah.
it's you take him out. I don't feel like it's him. And when we talk about the series, I will dwell a little bit into how I think if we were to continue the series, it should be done. Because I think the TV series actually set up a perfect opportunity.
Mhm.
Oh
But
yeah,
then,
no, it's just that we'll be talking about the series.
but I think when you take Bruce Campbell out and you take out the comedy aspect, and it's just,
It's like taking Scooby Doo out of the. It's like taking Scooby Doo out of the Velma series. It's just
Exactly.
yeah,
That's why
fucking.
I'm like, maybe if it would have been like a standalone where it's like, nothing to do with Bruce Campbell, but you kept like the Necronomicon and, all that, it's fine. Like the Deadites and all that's fine. But it's just like, since you kind of slapped him on there and you slapped all that in there, it's like, we want the comedy. We want, what the classic films brought to the plate.
No,
So,
no.
I was very unsatisfied
and
with
that's
it
what
for
happened
sure.
too in Nightmare on Elm Street. They took out all the comedy in the remake, and it just
And
kind of,
oh no, when I watched it a second, I actually think I only watched it once, but watching Dead Meat's kill count of it made me realize they heavily implied what Freddy was, unlike the
Yeah.
movies. Like it was slightly implied, but in the 2010, I
It was
think
all
it was just like it was heavily implied that that Freddy was a kitty diddler.
mhm.
yeah. Very, very, just everything was all about that. It was very centered around that.
Yeah.
Which
And I mean, it is horrific of it, but like, like for me, for instance, like I am like a sexual abuse survivor. So it's like, it doesn't bother me to see. It actually kind of makes it like some weird kind of like empowerment. But like, there's other parts of Freddy that I find enjoyable to his character, like how, like, he has like 1,000 dads, like
Oh yeah.
that guy he took the third one, like little things like that, where they tried to just make something that's originally supposed to be comedic to horror just focus in all serious.
Oh
It's like
no.
I don't want to focus on like the realism. That's
Yeah.
why I'm watching the horror. You know
Oh
what
yeah,
I
no,
mean?
that's what. And looking
Yeah.
back at it, that this film heavily implied about the things
Drug use.
drug use. Yeah, how
drug use.
basically a good chunk of this film was for Ash to take his sister to basically recover from being a drug addict.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like the scene where she's dumping her drugs
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
down the well. The only time we ever see a well. And there's no dead at the bottom. But yeah, the scene at like even throughout this movie when I can't remember her name. Let me look up the character's name real quick. Lux, same question. What were your thoughts when you first saw Evil Dead 2013?
well, first off, sick, depraved, the worst part of humanity you can think of. Everything is what I thought about Evil Dead. I thought Evil Dead was Evil Dead 2013 was one of those movies originally that I would kind of put in the same category as The Lords of Salem. Like
Yeah.
this is a movie you watch and you're like, I don't know if I should be watching this. And
would too.
however, my opinion over the years have changed on Evil Dead 2013, and in fact, I'm actually going to come to bat for Evil Dead 2013 because I like it in the sense that I appreciate if it is in fact the way they say that it's a continuous story of Ash and Evil Dead and the existence of the Book of the Dead and the Necronomicon. I feel like Evil Dead 2013 very much captures the very, very evil things that the Necronomicon is capable of doing. So we kind of see the full spectrum of it can be humorous, it can make fun situations, it can make funny situations for us, but it can also make very tense and very graphic situations when it wants to, which for me, having seen Evil Dead 2013 and knowing what the Deadites can do, watching Ash versus Evil Dead is why some of these scenes are so much funnier to me, because you have the I'll rip your soul out, and then you have the kick me again, it feels good.
Feels so good inside.
Feels so good inside me.
Oh man, yeah. The,
Classic.
and I want to talk about this one because this is like a film that like I watched and it wasn't bad, but it's like a film that I watched once, and I do agree. I think was it Mott that you said about the hand on
Yeah.
how the way she
Yeah,
loses
I
her
agree.
hand is like the Jeep basically falls onto it.
And she rips it off, right?
Yeah, it lands on it
Yeah.
and she just basically and then just sticks the chainsaw during that scene. And also, fun fact about this movie: over 70,000 gallons of fake blood was used for this movie. 50,000 alone was used for the final scene compared to the film's original fake blood use. So the first Evil Dead originally used over 200 to 300 gallons of fake blood. This film, it's been said to use over 70,000 gallons of fake blood.
I wonder if that's...
Go
Okay.
ahead, babe.
You go ahead, love.
I just read today that Evil Dead Rise coming out next month. It tops that number, even though it's in a more confined setting.
Oh, I believe it.
And I was kind of like, whoa.
I wonder
Okay.
if that blood was used. I think it was It too, because they were saying like, "Oh, this is the most that's ever been used in like a horror movie."
Oh yeah, the bathroom stall scene alone used a lot of blood.
Yeah. So I'm wondering in comparisons, I don't know how many gallons was used in that, like, to see if this one's gonna have more or.
So I was looking at the Evil Dead Rise film. The film's development was preceded by a scrapped. So this film, the development of this film was preceded by scrapped plans for sequels of Evil Dead 2013 and Army of Darkness. So Army of Darkness was going to get a sequel, and also, we were also going to get a fourth season of Evil Dead Ash versus Evil Dead, but that'll got all scrapped to make Evil Dead Rise.
Oh, I'm already salty.
Or I-
So we were gonna get a sequel to Evil Dead 2013. And also, I looked at it, the character's name was Mia and her brother's name was David, which
Mhm.
was who I originally thought was gonna be this film's version of Ash.
It was interesting to see a
female.
woman take over.
Yeah, I was about to ask,
Yeah.
what were your thoughts on seeing a female lead role as the main protagonist in this Evil Dead film? Starting
So-
with Mott Daddy and you Autumn.
So it's not uncommon because whenever people go, oh, because like I heard that a lot, like, oh, it's a female, it's a female. Well, so is Nancy, so is Lori, like so many
Final
people.
Girls.
Yeah, so it's
Yeah.
kind of like it's in my eyes, it's the same as that. In my eyes, it's not like, oh, this is something new and groundbreaking. If you want new and groundbreaking, give me maybe a female like, you know, killer that's, like besides Tiffany and stuff, like who's more of like the standalone, because that would be a little more interesting.
You don't
to
see a whole
see.
lot of that really in horror.
Yeah.
Nah, but females in horror movies have always been very controversial because people either say that they're very sexist and they don't empower women, but then some of them turn around and claim that say no, they do empower women. So to see it to me, but here's the other thing too. Sorry, my phone's dying trying to get the charger. The thing though that I will shit on this movie over, and it's one thing I've noticed over and over again whenever they have females, let women be funny. Women can be comedic. Women can be funny and do jokes and stuff.
Oh yeah, I've seen it quite a bit in TV shows and video games.
But in entertainment, and maybe I'm just salty because when I worked at SeaWorld, I tried out for Biff, who is one of the like comedic relief people from the Clyde and Seymour show. They
Mhm.
said they'll never have a female as Biff because women aren't as funny doing what Biff does as men are. So you'll never see
I've seen funny women. Aquafina in Shang-Chi. That was funny.
Yeah, she was
But then,
funny.
but
But
again,
in horror,
you don't see it. It's usually the men who make the jokes. You won't see funny funny female characters. And like in my opinion, Evil Dead Ash versus the Evil Dead, the main chick's name, I can't remember her name, but she had some funny scenes.
Kelly.
Yes, thank you.
yeah.
Yeah.
That was a breath of fresh air. That I preferred kind of more than this like remake because Kelly was kind of more like she's a badass. She's at
Oh,
Ash's
she was like
level.
she didn't need no man to save her.
It's
She's-
kind of like the thrill of seeing Tiffany. It's an equal counterpart to Chucky, and she was allowed to have humor. She was allowed to have creative kills. She was allowed
Harley Quinn for is another example.
Yeah.
Mm,
I just want to
but-
throw in. I also want to throw in recent example in Mia Goth, because Mia Goth has been turning in some
Ooh,
delightfully
X.
chilling
Yeah.
but still humorous characters.
Oh, and they were also getting a sequel to X.
Mhm.
Mhm.
So I hope they turn it up, and I mean in Pearl she turned in that
Oh,
that
I read the plot to that film. I'm like, oh my god.
Yeah.
Good God.
it is
And then,
it
and
is
Mia Goth is playing in another psychological horror film soon. Oh,
So I feel
Excuse me.
sorry. So I feel like if in this remake or continuation or whatever it is, if her character is more like how Kelly was from the series, I would have probably had more of a hype. But it was your typical final girl in a sense. So
oh yeah, no. And at first, in this movie, Mia is a recovering drug addict,
Mhm.
and the best thing that they can do is like, hey, let's go to this cabin we used to go to as kids. And also, if you also look at it, David gives Mia almost an identical magnifying glass necklace,
Yeah.
like Ash
Yes.
did to Linda.
Yes.
They try to keep like little Easter eggs in a
Like-
way, little shout outs to the originals.
well, it's because from what I heard of it, it's supposed to be showing that this book will parallel every single kind of sense of the universe, but it's
Mhm.
going to be different people, but same.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, to you, Lux, real quick. What did you think of when we were first introduced to the Necronomicon, how it was wrapped in like a trash bag and barbed wire?
Okay. Yes. 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 Finally, somebody did something fucking logical. because so in a lot of horror movies you see that the book has been left on a shelf or it's whatever the case may be, and no one ever takes the precaution to make sure that no one could find this.
It's
And
like,
if they
hey, don't fucking read this. We learned that from the Mummy movies.
yes, literally, and inscribed in the book when they do end up opening it is like, do not read this book, do not read anything it
And
says.
guess who reads
Think
it? The
about
guy, the guy who was a teacher and would think would fucking know better.
I know,
Literally.
right?
They were just grabbing anybody to be a teacher at this point.
I mean,
Joke's on you, book. I can't even read.
Yeah, the character's name, I'm actually looking right now. No, that's a plot. The character's name was Eric. How he said, I think in the movie he said he was like a teacher or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You think if something's wrapped, you're a teacher, you're supposed to be smart. You think, this is wrapped in a garbage bag and barbed wire. Maybe I shouldn't fucking look at this.
Found in a room that includes a burn pyre and a room full of dead cats hanging from the ceiling.
Mhm.
I'm
Oh,
like,
yeah.
how much
This
more
book
warnings do you need?
And
like,
you're
you've got plenty of
you're a
warnings.
teacher. You think you would know better.
It
Like-
goes back to like the usual, scary films. You're like, you hear a noise. Oh, I'm gonna go investigate. What is that?
Oh, hey, where'd
No,
Dave
literally.
go? Oh, Dave heard a noise.
Oh.
But I get why they do it. It's an iconic horror movie trope.
Yeah.
They think, oh, what's this? This looks dangerous. I know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna read it. Oh, there was a noise. There was a noise outside in a cornfield. I'm gonna go into the cornfield. Like any logical person in real life, like if I was to see a book covered in in black plastic, barbed wire, I'm like, fuck you.
We know better.
But I remember watching Dead Meat's kill count for it, and how he was even saying, James was even saying the same thing. Like, the guy's a teacher, you think he would know better, and also the fucker reads it out loud. So honestly, Eric is the cause of why Mia got chased by the Deadite force thing.
Spirit,
I
Yeah.
I have to appreciate Evil Dead 2013's fake out with Mia and how Mia's going to be, because Mia starts off as the Cheryl character,
Mm-hmm.
which I think is such a trip, and she ends up at the end being the Ash character.
yeah.
And that's the one thing that I really have to be like, oh, that's kind of cool. The fact that they faked us out with David and
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
the gal from Gotham. Whichever gal they were supposed to be, like the Ash and Linda.
Yeah.
I can actually.
Yeah, it was her
I
brother
can-
David
I-
and the girlfriend.
So yeah. It's Elizabeth Black. Natalie is David's girlfriend.
Yes.
She's the one who gets tricked by Mia to open the cellar door.
It's in the classic iconic scene.
Because
Well,
Olivia,
I just think-
Olivia is the one who cuts herself with the electric knife carver.
Yeah.
Oh no, it was a scissors because there's one scene where she stabs David in the eye with the needle.
Oh yeah, with the glasses. And
Mhm.
yeah, they don't.
But it's just like that. It's just like that meme on TikTok. God fucking damn it, Dave. No,
It's
no,
all
I
your
mean-
fault.
no, it's not Dave. It's Eric. He's the one who decided to read the goddamn book. And you think
No, literally.
we see that intro scene where this witch doctor lady and her two sons are capture this girl. Like, what the hell is this? And you realize, oh shit, she's a deadite. And the
Great
father
cold open, by the
and
way.
the father has to like burn her daughter, and then he shoots her.
Oh. See,
I
that was
mean-
a good, yeah.
I'm a sucker for a chilling cold open. Like Nope was probably my favorite cold open of last year, with the scene on the film set. But this movie in Evil Dead 2013, you think, oh, they've got the wrong girl. They've got the wrong girl. No, Maury, don't do it. And then she's like, I'll rip your soul out. And you're like, oh shit, you know.
I can admit that was one of my favorite scenes out of the whole thing. That you did not expect it, but like in the same time you did, and you did it like a weird,
Yeah.
you know.
And that's where I think that this movie's sick humor kind of comes out is
Oh yeah. And this is what the Necronomicon looked like. It doesn't have a face. It's just a skin-bound stitched journal.
Yeah.
That's
because I enjoy the face.
I do
Oh, yeah.
too. I do too.
Oh yeah, even like so oh yeah. And here is the Necronomicon from Evil Dead Rise. It just looks all veiny.
And it's got teeth on it. It's got
Oh
teeth on it.
shit, those are oh wow, that is teeth.
In the new trailer that they just dropped, that has probably my favorite line in the entire promotional campaign up until this point. The eeny, meeny, miny.
Oh god, I know for a fact, and I think that movie is also going to be coming out on HBO Max and in theaters. I think I'm not 100% sure, but if it doesn't come out on if it doesn't come out on HBO Max, I will literally go to the movie theaters on the 21st to go see it. I don't care if I'm the only one. I don't care if I'm the only one in that movie theater. I'm gonna fucking watch it.
I would watch it in theaters. I mean, I watched Evil Dead.
Are we making it a
2013 in
date?
theaters.
We're doing
I wish I could. I wish I can go down to San Diego with you guys to watch
You
it with
can
you
hear
all.
us like deadite cackle in the back.
No,
Oh,
literally.
God.
We can go be bothersome at my theater.
But yeah,
I'm gonna make alcohol in your theater. We're gonna watch this.
They sell.
oh yeah, yeah.
What do we sell?
Speaking of, my local theater does sell alcohol. They sell beer and wine.
Listen,
Yeah,
For like a cup
Yeah,
of wine, for like a cup of wine is like $6.
that's how we sneak it.
The whole bottle.
Sorry, baby.
But no, so yeah, Moth Daddy and Count. Oh, I'm sorry, name drew a blank. I'm sorry. It's my weekend.
I forget my name too. It's okay.
So Autumn, so what you saw from Dead Meat's kill count, what was your favorite scene that you saw from his kill count?
So this part actually wasn't in the kill count. I watched it on a random because it was like those movie clips or whatever. My friend sent it to me because I was like, you'll find this funny. It's the part where she's under the thing and she's like, come here, pretty boy, I'll suck your dick.
Oh yeah, that scene,
Yeah.
like
She's trying to entice them to open the.
That part killed me. I was like, that's what I must look like. Like before I dated her, that's probably how I looked all around San Diego trying to pick up a fucking date.
oh yeah.
Lucky bastard.
So here is
Catch me in the
So-
gutters in Hillcrest. Hey, pretty boy.
the Deadite makeup too was different in this movie. Like
Yeah.
no blind
Yeah.
contacts. It's basically Sith
Yellowed out eyes.
Like
Yeah.
yellow, red. Yeah.
They
It
made it.
gives
They
me Billy Butcherson vibes from Hocus Pocus. Not
I
gonna
see
lie.
it.
they definitely made the Deadites look more zombie-ish.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah. Same question for you, Montati. What was your favorite scene, and what did you think of the makeup in this movie too?
It wasn't my favorite. I feel like it missed on obviously the classic Evil Dead, look. Very, very much green zombie-ish looking. My favorite scene though is, and this is only specifically because it was in the theater and it made me laugh, is when she's going up to the girl and she splits her tongue open.
Oh, with the carver knife.
With the car, yeah, and she's like doing that whole scene, and it makes me laugh because while I was in the theater, someone yelled out, "Yes, girl action!"
These men will get lesbian action wherever they can.
Literally.
Wherever they can, girl.
Wherever they can.
I wouldn't even think about that when I saw it back in 2013.
Doesn't she kiss her after that? Where she licks
Yes,
the
that's-
yeah. Yeah.
That's what makes me
Yeah.
laugh is she just immediately goes all in on a French kiss.
Yep.
Hey
And-
Thaler,
Was it-
want a kiss?
With
that
a
whole
split
scene,
tongue.
that whole scene just, I feel
And
because I have that memory
and
of
that and that was the
the
fake
whole
and that was a
theater
pro, and that was
erupted
a
in
and that was
laughter.
that was a
That was
prosthetic
your
tongue.
queer awakening.
Yeah.
No, honey, that was Xena, the warrior princess.
Which is in Ash vs. Evil Dead.
Oh yeah.
Lucy.
Oh yes.
But yeah, I have to say that is my favorite scene because made me laugh. But that was more because of the theater. But yeah, I gotta say that
Oh man,
one.
if someone said if someone had said that at the theater I was at, I would have busted up laughing too.
Oh, the whole theater erupted in laughter because it was so serious, and you just you didn't expect.
The only time during a horror movie where something like that would just in general, if I was to see if I see this new Evil Dead and someone makes a joke, I'm gonna be busted. I'm gonna be laughing my fucking ass off.
All right, Lex, you know your job. Lesbian joke, something in there.
Uh, Lux, same question. What was your favorite scene about this movie?
Ah, I got it. I gotta go with the tried and true cold open. However, I think there's a whole lot of scenes in this movie that I think are so fucked up that they're so good and they're so fucked up. But I gotta go with the tried and true cold open because of the twist.
Oh yeah,
on
like you see this girl running, and next you know she
Mhm.
gets basically just like bopped right with a bunt of a rifle,
Yeah,
and then she
and
gets
then
basically like she gets a bag over her head, and next thing you know we see this like why is she tied up, and we don't know what
Yeah.
the fuck is going on. Like it's in your face.
and I that's and going on with the makeup too. Like I feel like the makeup takes a whole new look to what the Deadites could look like, and I feel like I know that they're trying to make it more serious and everything.
They look like
But
zombies from Resident Evil.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
and I feel like in this new one they're going a little more tried and true formula because it looks like they're gonna unhinge these Deadites a little more in this new movie. Like in the one shot at the very end of the trailer, she's got her mouth like really wide open, and I'm like, that doesn't look normal. Anyway,
Oh yeah,
It's
Fact.
from the scene when she's when they're looking through the peephole. That
mhm.
scene alone, like that scared the shit out of me looking at that image.
I feel like I want to print that out and put it on Lux's people.
Like
So
little random.
when she looks out,
Oh, just imagine. I was gonna say
I just
if you really want to mess with someone, just put that on a people at a hotel.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh,
you'll like
really?
somebody.
That would like really, or just put it on your neighbor's door, like a neighbor you hate, just like scare the shit out of them for sure.
I'll tell
Well,
you what.
I'm not condoning that. Don't we can
Yeah, heard it
some of the
here
stuff
first,
with some of the
kids.
stuff we talk about, we do not condone on this channel. I'm putting that right there.
Wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
Say no more, say no more. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Say no more, say no more.
Um, I think in this new one they look like they're really incorporating the humor back into a lot of it because it looks like this new queen is gonna have a lot to say.
Mhm. And
And
this
it's
is the
gonna have
first
a
time
lot of
this is the first time we're getting a solo like main Deadite baddie.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And I was actually having an intense conversation with one of my coworkers about if it's only her that's a Deadite or if there are others that become Deadites too. Um, I don't know. But anyway, going back to Evil Dead 2013, I feel like it's a nice change in the formula. I feel like it's a new swing in a different direction for Evil Dead, and especially acknowledging the time that it came out, just off of the torture porn and body horror spike of the early
I
2000s.
mean, like movies like
Yeah.
Hostel, Saw,
Mhm.
Human Centipede.
Very,
Yes.
very Evil Dead's conversation piece to the rest of it. So I feel like it has a good place. Is it the best of the bunch? No,
Mm-mm.
because it's the same film, you know. But do I feel like do I feel like it's a little better polished than the other one? Yeah. Hot take. I feel like it's a little more polished than the first one.
Oh yeah, no. Um, so I guess now, another scene I want to mention real quick. It's and it made me sad seeing it. It's when Mia's like slowly, like in the book, it describes what the possessed person will do, like, pour boiling like magma on them. You see the scene where Mia's in the shower, hot shower, and the blisters on her back. The scene that made me really cry is when David finds their dog in the shed, just like unalived,
Yeah.
and like what happened, and that's the same scene where they find her in the shower, and it's David's friend, not Natalie, the other chick's name, was saying, "Oh, this is all in Mia's head. She's like relapsing and everything." And David wants to take her, David wants to take her away. We're like, no, no, no. She needs to stay here. Like, you can't like keep on coddling her. And like when they're trying to leave, the whole bridge just gets taken out and everything's all flooded. It's like they don't want, like, the spirit doesn't want them to leave. The fish spirit did that on accident. And also, I also now want to talk about the comparison scene. So we got the tree scene in the first one. What did you
Yeah.
think of this tree scene in the 2013 one, starting with Autumn and Mont Daddy? What did you think of the tree scene compared to the original?
So I actually did watch this scene too. And I actually feel like it was toned down more than the first one, but like more graphic at the same time, if that makes sense.
I'm not going to show either scene, by the way.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'll show any of the scenes. Like, I'll probably show like pictures or something, or I may just show covers of each film we're talking about, because this is going to be a lot to add in just in general.
Yeah, definitely very toned down. They did focus more on like the graphic, scratches. Yeah, basically I agree with Autumn, very, very toned down. I mean,
Same
it's there, but just very
Oh, yeah.
toned down.
Okay, same question for you, Lux.
Can I get the question one more time? I'm very sorry.
So we're talking about we're talking about
Oh, the scenes in comparison. Yes.
yeah, the
Yes.
the peeping tree.
I was so into what Mont Daddy had to say. I was just riveted. I
I
forgot.
know.
So yeah, so thought.
Are you
so,
showing
so,
me your split tongue? Oh my god.
thoughts on the peeping tree scene from the original to the 2013 one.
I see both as still a little problematic in their nature, right? But I gotta ask, why is there a demon girl in the second one? Like, I feel like the first one, obviously, Evil Dead 81, with the tree scene, it feels a lot more. I shouldn't be watching this. Like, very much a found footage kind of feeling to it, with how the entire thing's going down. It feels a lot scarier.
Very snuff filmy almost.
Yeah,
Yeah.
very, very snuff filmy. Thank you. Um, and in this one, because they have the demon girl, I
Oh,
feel
that's
like
right. They introduced, and this demon girl is like full on fucking nude too.
yeah, and like
Screaming with her, all that stuff.
Yeah.
Again, this is 2010s, where when they were doing reboots, they were full on, ass, tits, snooter, everything.
It was all about nudity.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
That was the thing. That was the thing. They took a page from part 5 or part 6 of Friday the 13th.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
it's very much the era of Rob Zombie.
Oh,
know,
yeah.
and all of his wonderful
Kitty.
pornographic
yeah.
contribution films.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's something else. So now on God,
Yeah.
just talking about it makes me realize, okay, Army of Darkness wasn't a whole hot. I mean, success. I mean, box office wise, the 2013 movie did really good. But again, this movie also not only be promoted on YouTube, but also be promoted on TV as well.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Like they promoted the hell out of this movie. It's why
Yeah,
it
they
did
wanna
so.
love.
It's why it did so well. It sucks we never got a sequel because I would have been curious on what the sequel would have been like. So Mont Daddy and Countess, initial thoughts on the 2013 reboot.
I will watch it for the sake of this podcast, but if
Ah,
we
Mhm.
went along our merry ways, I still don't know if it's something I would see. Maybe if it was on, but
It's definitely one of those you'll probably watch it once and it's like never watch it again. That's how I felt. Like I
I
watched
feel
it in
like the
theaters.
kill count in the scenes I saw, I've seen it, if that
Oh,
makes
yeah.
sense.
That's the only second time I've ever seen it was Dead Meets Kill Count. Other than that, I only saw it once, and I don't think I'd ever want to see it again because it didn't go anywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw it once in theaters, like I've mentioned before. I saw the kill count, but it left like a not satisfied taste in my mouth. Definitely would not really rewatch it. Like I'll rewatch it because we're together, so I have to sit there and watch
Oh,
with her.
I mean, yeah, you gotta
I'll
watch
watch
it.
it.
You gotta
I know
watch
I'll watch it with you.
you gotta watch
But
it with
yeah, it's
Autumn.
not my favorite for sure.
I'll
Oh,
swallow
yeah.
my own soul, bitch.
Um, Same question, Lux. Initial thoughts on the film, and would you agree or disagree? It's one of those you just watch it once and just like meh.
first off, I'm sorry. I just want to share that I just put a pillow underneath my seat and I feel
Oh
great.
no, that's how I have my office.
That's why you need a shift in.
That's how I have my office chair. Like if there was no cushion, my ass would hurt and not in a good way.
Second off, I love Evil Dead 2013, but I usually have the hot take on a lot of movies, and I think it's an honorable piece of the franchise. Do I feel like it's the best? Absolutely not. Because I feel like it does lose a lot of the comedy and a lot of the staple fun and heartfelt love that
Oh,
is
yeah.
very present in the Evil Dead films. You
Yeah.
know,
Oh,
and it
God,
kind of
yeah.
throws it away for that grungy, ooh, this is 2010s. We're trying to really push the limits of what horror can be.
Oh yeah, no, with
Yeah.
like it started in 2007 with Rob Zombie's Halloween remake reboot.
Yes.
Like from 2007 to like up to the Carrie, it was more about remakes showing a lot more Skinamax and more
Yeah.
blood and guts. That was like
Yeah.
that was the era, you know. But then
Very,
like
very gore porn.
exactly, you know. And then shortly after is like it's been toned down since like the 2010s
Yeah.
were an experimental kind of era. Then after that, it was more suspense, jump scare, not like
I think the
near da-
return of the slasher.
not damn near torture porn,
Mhm.
Yeah.
so to speak. So we're gonna actually skim really fast through the Evil Dead series. Starting with Countess and Mont Daddy. Initial thoughts altogether on the Evil Dead series, and do you think it deserved a fourth season?
Go ahead.
I know the
So
answer.
we're like,
Yeah, like I stated before, I actually like the series more than all three of the films. But I also think that's due to the fact that it does cover all three of the films, but the mixture of the comedy in it, Bruce Campbell is so fine in that movie. I think actually
And at this point, he's like in his 50s at this point now.
I think so.
fine.
I don't know if it's something wrong with me or not, but I think he's more attractive in that.
Oh, and
than
he's
in-
as stated, as most people said, he's definitely what people call a silver fox.
Mm.
and there's something too about the fact that he is in that age and then acting the way that he acts, like, you know, still being the little horn dog he is, not having.
Yes.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. I mean, look at the scene. Look at the scene when
The
he's trying
first
to hit.
opening.
Oh, like oh yeah,
Yeah.
that scene, or when he's trying to hit on Kelly at the store.
Yeah.
Like, this is gonna sound creepy with what I just said like 5 seconds ago, but he actually kind of reminds me a bit of how my dad is. Like, my dad is, you know, that age, kind of looks like him a little bit, but acts exactly like him. Like, my dad will be bringing home girls younger than me, and like,
Calling out your dad.
It's like this is your new mom.
yeah,
She's like,
it's
oh,
just,
Wow.
she's older to be my sister.
I know, right? But it's just like there's something about that trope of that character that, like, you know, is cringy in aspect, but because it's Bruce Campbell and because it's Ash, like,
Oh no, they definitely pulled a Roger Moore James Bond with him. How, you know what I'm talking about? Roger, you've seen the Roger Moore James Bonds. How he's
yeah,
like getting with these girls old enough to be his like daughter.
Yep.
It pretty much
Yeah.
did it with Bruce Campbell, but unlike the Roger Moore, I feel like it works more with Bruce Campbell than it did with Roger Moore back
yeah,
in the
there's some
80s.
charm or some formula that they have where it's not like cringy, it's not like
It's
it's
funny.
weird.
It's
Yeah.
funny.
It's funny and
And
it works. Unlike again, unlike the Roger Moore James Bond era, where it's like he was old enough to be almost damn near old enough to be their grandfather or
Yeah.
uncle.
And the fact that, you know, still to this day and age, he can still portray Ash like he did back then, you know, down to a T. It's just, that's incredible to me that he can still just bring.
It very much reminds me of Elvira. Like, she's
Yeah.
70 and she
Yeah.
can still be playing Elvira up until
And
she's, you
and
know,
it's also scary how her daughter damn near looks like her too.
on Elvira.
Yeah. I think she
Yeah.
has like I've seen like pictures of her daughter. Scary how her daughter almost kind of looks like her too.
So Elvira's child transitioned to male. So
Oh,
yeah.
I didn't know that.
No, you're okay. They prefer to stay out of the spotlight so much on it, but those older photos from like the movie premieres and stuff, yeah, like they do very much look like Cassandra. And I remember
Thank
I
you for
was talking.
thank you for correcting me on that. I didn't know.
No, you're
I
okay.
don't keep up with all that stuff.
No, you're fine. A lot of people don't know because once again, they choose to kind of be out the spotlight on it.
Well,
But I remember like they told me once, like straight up, like they would never wear Elvira and never like they hate that character basically.
wait,
But
Cassandra's son or Cassandra herself?
Cassandra's son, yeah.
Hey,
But
that's totally fair. You know, leave it to the one person who's made it as a staple over the past 40 years.
yeah, I mean, I would probably feel the same way if like my mom was like continuously my kid's gonna hate. But yeah, I just think it's very refreshing, like cool to see characters are so iconic, still be able to pull and play that character
Play the roles.
no matter where they are in life. And what's nice about it is it really does feel like Ash was there the whole time and we just aged up with
Mhm.
Ash because of the way that they
Yeah.
pulled in, you know, his personal life, and you see, you know, clips with his dad, and like just it felt more intimate and personal with
Oh, they definitely gave him more of a more of a background and character arc in this series than they did the original three movies. Like we got to see
Yeah.
Ash's, you know, hometown. We got to see where we got to know about, you know, how people hated Ash because what they thought what he did to his
Yeah.
friends and girlfriend. Like they literally nickname him Ashy Slashy.
And it was kind of like a relief because I felt like that was something that was very much missing. Because think about it, how was he when he came back home? You know, sister
Oh,
gone,
no.
friends gone, like we
Girlfriend
don't
dead.
yeah.
Yeah. He was alone. Basically, he came back alone and stayed alone after that.
And he basically, like, you know, people deemed him a murderer and everything, and so he basically just skipped town and moved elsewhere and basically started a new life. Got it,
Yeah.
moved into a Airstream RV, got a pet bearded dragon, pet lizard or bearded dragon.
Yeah.
Worked at another shop smart, got a fake wood in hand, and just basically brought random women to get high and fuck.
Yeah. So it was kind of like interesting and like a nice take to see
Mm-hmm.
where are they now, you know.
Oh
It was
no,
refreshing.
definitely. I mean, again, Ash hadn't been on the screen I mean, Evil Dead, the Evil Ash versus the Evil Dead came out in like 2013, if I'm not mistaken, and it had been almost like been over 20 years since he's played the character because he hasn't really done any since, unless you count him voicing in the video games.
He was so gung ho never to be Ash again too, because like I'm gonna say it. Sorry if you're watching this. Bruce Campbell had a huge asshole phase.
Oh yeah.
Like he
Oh
was.
yeah, no, oh no, he did. I mean, part of that is because people kept on bugging him
I mean,
about.
fans are crazy.
I mean, but here's the thing though. Ash, unlike Harrison Ford, Bruce Campbell loves playing that character he's known for. Unlike Harrison Ford, who rather be known for Indiana Jones and not Han Solo.
Not back in
Yeah.
the time. Way back in the time, he hated that he played Ash. He felt like it stunted his career to be anything.
Well, because
but
he was either
like Harry
known for,
Potter syndrome, basically.
he was either known for that, or I mean, he also played he also played with Lucy Lawless on Xena, and also played with Kevin Sorbo as the same character.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah.
again, people like for the longest time, but like now that he's older, he appreciates the character more.
Yeah, because I
know.
remember like seeing him in signings like back in the day.
Oh yeah.
And he would literally like sign and hand off and be like, "I here, just take it," or like people try to talk.
Basically get your like the old thing, welcome to Walmart, get your shit and get out.
Yeah,
Exactly.
he wanted no conversations. He's just like, go, go, go.
So it was a huge shock to hear that he was coming back to reprise his role as Ash.
Oh, he loved doing the series.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, he had stated before, like, if something happens in this series, I'm never being Ash again. This is your final chance with me. Like, go on. That's it. So I wonder if there's still a sense of like, hostility to this character, or if he's kind of like, I just in my age, I don't want to play him anymore.
Oh no, and I honestly wouldn't blame him if he retired from acting altogether.
Yeah.
Like there are actors his age who just like they're known for specific characters, or they're just like they feel like, yeah, I'm done. Like I just want to live my life and maybe make an appearance here or two at a con, but other than that,
Yeah.
I'm just living my own life kind
And
of
he
thing.
started doing more cons, which was nice because he was very reclused on that for a
Oh
long
yeah, no,
time.
I don't blame him. Lux, same question. Initial thoughts on Ash versus the Evil Dead series, and do you think it should have gotten a fourth season?
Well, I did not get the entire chance to finish Ash versus Evil Dead. I haven't seen it in its entirety. Of
Same here. Same here. I haven't finished season 3.
Probably I've seen a good amount of the first season and a few select episodes here and there. But beyond that, I don't know much about it. However, I do appreciate how much they go into the world of Evil Dead and Ash's story and how they fill in all the holes and all the things that we've been wondering after all this time, especially with how they expand on the story in the world of the Evil Dead with the introduction of characters that want to kill Ash for his relationship to the Necronomicon and the Evil Dead. You
Mhm.
know, I think it's a fantastic kind of post main story. I think it's a fantastic epilogue. That's what I'll say. However, I do think that it should have gotten a fourth season because I feel like if it could have wrapped
Oh, no.
up
But it got scrapped for Evil Dead Rise.
I really don't want to say any spoilers or anything now for either of you both.
Yeah.
Because like I really do have a lot of love for this series, and like I just don't want to spoil anything for you guys. Like,
But I feel like we were definitely robbed of that fourth season. It could have definitely continued, and it could have definitely been wrapped up way better. And I understand they scrapped it for this upcoming film, but I feel like continuing the series would have been a bit better.
Yeah,
Kind of like
It would have been like nice to get a hurrah for M. So last but not least, in April 21st, we are getting Evil Dead Rise, which would make it 10 years this time, aside from 20, since an Evil Dead movie came out, and I'm clarifying this as this is not a remake, not a reboot. It's its own thing in the Evil Dead universe, and instead of taking place in a cabin in the woods, it takes place in an apartment building, and I think like New York or something.
Oh,
LA
the rent
Yeah.
alone is horrific.
Oh, wait, it takes place in L.A.
takes place in LA.
Oh, good God! It takes place in California. Oh, good God!
Even worse.
Man,
How am I supposed
jeez.
to sleep in my
Busy.
apartment now?
But yeah, from what you, Moth Daddy and Countess, from what you saw in the trailer, what do you think is going to be going on with this Evil Dead movie?
It's kind of hard to say because I actually try to not think too deeply into trailers when I see them, especially when it's for a film I'm going to be interested in seeing, because either I'll end up disappointing myself because I'll be like, oh, this is going to happen, this is going to be cool, and then it doesn't. Um,
Let me reiterate that question. What were your thoughts when you heard that they were doing another Evil Dead film?
my real one or the one that's for the sake of this podcast?
Both. Like, you know what? Honest opinion.
My first thought was, "Ugh, Jesus Christ, here we go again. Like, they're gonna just take this and they're just gonna butcher it up and like da da da." But hearing that the show stopped so that they could make this gives me a faint little glimmer of hope, because I was like, if this was a standalone, like not connected to the series, it's just fresh idea, fresh this, fresh that, I felt like it was gonna irk me. Because when I saw the Chucky remake that just happened, I was like, this is a good film.
The only good thing about the Chucky remake was Mark Hamill voicing Chucky. Other than that, the film was
I felt if it was not Chucky, it
Mhm.
was an AI doll in its entirety of a different movie and had nothing to do with the series of Chucky, I would have thought it was an okay movie. Not the greatest film, but an okay.
which is kind of funny because the stuff they put in the Chucky reboot were original ideas were past ideas for the original films.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Which is why I'm like, standalone, nothing to do with the franchise. But because you tagged the franchise to it, I ended up hating it.
because
Mhm.
you got high hopes, high
Mhm.
expectations.
If the IP does well, of course they're gonna capitalize off of it.
Yeah. But they can't go any further because they only own the rights to the first film for
Mm-hmm.
Chucky.
So
But that's why I felt like it should have been standalone. This is kind of the feelings I'm having for this if it's standalone, but I guess it's not. So I'm a little more excited, but
it's the fifth
neither
ins-
was 2013.
it's the fifth installment to the series.
Yeah.
Not counting the TV show.
I will be honest, but it could be, it could not be. If it doesn't have Bruce Campbell in it, I
Well, April 21st, we'll see if he makes a little appearance at the end like he did in the 2013 reboot.
That's true.
yeah, because as skeevy as it really is Bruce Campbell and the character of Ash and the comedy of Ash that drives the series for me. Because if not, it's just another paranormal horror.
Oh yeah, no. And this is
Yeah.
also the first film to just where the main antagonist is just one. I don't know if it would be still considered a deadite. I'm not sure what they're gonna do. Mott Daddy, same question. What were your thoughts when you saw when you heard that they're making another Evil Dead movie? And this is like there hasn't, it's been over 30 years since Evil Dead was the name, because last time it was just Army of Darkness, where now we're getting an Evil Dead.
Yeah. I mean, there is that little level of excitement because I do hold, the franchise very near and dear because of, but I'm not trying to go into it with high expectations. It's one of those, I mean, I'm glad it's trying to make its own standalone because that means we get more, but not, the same name, like same series name slapped on it,
Mhm.
I will say, once you both finish the Ash versus the Evil Dead series, I would like to revisit, because what they had going for that, I feel would have been much better as a film and a continuation for the series without kind of sacrificing the vibe and the feel of the series.
Oh no, I understand what get what you're saying.
Yeah.
Like it
Um,
would have had a nice wrap up for sure to like kind of end it and then, continue on to trying to
Branch out with the
Yes.
franchise, but with different people. So
Yes.
that way
oh
we're
no, I get what you're saying. Basically, wrap up Ash's story and then start something new.
Exactly,
Yeah.
because right now, like we're kind of left like, okay, well, what happened to Ash? What happened with Ash?
there's so
Like,
many questions because I really don't want to spoil it for
Yeah.
you. There's
Oh,
so
no.
many questions at the end of the third series.
Oh,
that-
I've looked into it and saw.
yeah.
yeah,
I was like 5 episodes away from finishing season 3.
so like I said, obviously always giving it a chance because part of the franchise I love, but not going with it with high hopes.
Taking it with a grain of salt, basically.
There you go. Yes.
Yeah, that's how I feel like I'm going to. Lux, same question. What were your thoughts on the Evil Dead Rise when you heard about it? Plus, also since you work at a movie theater, you're helping try to promote it too.
Yeah, actually, so okay, when I first saw the trailer for Evil Dead Rise, I shut it off because even though I'm an avid lover of horror and everything, I love all the things that horror has to offer and whatnot. There is a part of me where I'm like, not right now, or this is my line. Like I mentioned before with Lords of Salem, you know, I was having a great time in the movie until I saw the priests with their members out. Then I was like, oh, okay. And that's how I felt about the Evil Dead Rise trailer. However, I am very excited for this fucking movie because I want to see the performance that the actress that is playing the mom is going to turn in as
Oh
one of
yeah, and that's become a iconic trope lately in horror movies where a mother will get possessed, and like Mama, for example.
Oh, yeah.
The one
Yep.
I can't remember the other movie, but it's the two main characters are that husband and wife who hunt
The
ghosts.
Conjuring.
Oh,
Yeah,
The
thank you.
Conjuring.
Yeah, The Conjuring, Mama, like it's become an iconic staple where we've been seeing a lot of horror movies where a female character, like a mother or a mother or sister or daughter of sorts, gets possessed. So
Yeah.
this movie's continuing that trope of women getting possessed.
I'm very. It looks like it's going to tap back into that dark humor that makes Evil Dead so
Ooh.
wonderful.
Fingers crossed.
Fingers and toes crossed, and whatever else you can
There-
cross.
From the review that I read or heard today, it said that there is action that is going to take place outside of the apartment. In fact, the entire floor of the apartment complex is going to become an Evil Dead playpen. And so I'm kind of like, that sounds rather interesting.
That's
I
exciting.
mean, look at the scores right now on IMDb, Rotten Tomatoes, and Metacritic uh for Evil Dead Rise. Like there's like high hope,
Wow.
8.3 on IMDb, 96 on Rotten Tomatoes, and 70% on, like, the movie hasn't even come out yet.
That's crazy.
Well, I imagine this is like from people who got to see like the early screening for it
Mhm.
because they do like, influencers
Yeah.
and content creators and the
Yeah.
cast and filmmakers will get to go see the movie like an early showing. So that must be like
Oh yeah, we got to do that with Annabelle, huh?
Hmm.
Yeah. We got to get an early screening for Annabelle.
so imagine
Oh,
I imagine those reviews from the early screening.
Yeah.
It's
But-
so weird though because when you do those, the movie's not ever fully finished.
No,
So
you're
like
you're
when
probably
we-
like watching like what 30 minutes of the film?
No,
that.
we'll watch the whole film, but it's noted like, hey, what do you like about it? What do you think is different? Like for instance, Hocus Pocus 2, the ending that you saw in theaters is not the same ending that came out. They hated it so much, the ending, that they actually had to sit there, refilm it, and then you get the ending that you get on the actual Disney Plus.
Oh, really? Oh,
Yeah, so
it must Hocus Pocus 2 must have been shown in like limited theaters then.
Yeah, because they had like the same thing. They take select people. Some are content creators, some are just like, hey, rando people, like come here and see this.
Man, I would love the opportunity to just be grabbed like, hey, we're making this movie that you may love. You want to come and see an early showing of it and give your honest opinion?
They did that with Halloween Kills too,
Mhm.
which
Yeah.
is why we got the weird alternate ending to Halloween Kills, which is great, by the way. If you watch Halloween Kills alternate ending,
But from what it seems like, since from what I saw, it looks like it's well received because it looks like people got to see an early showing of it, especially with seeing those kind of reviews already. So it's like, okay, they must have not changed anything. People loved it, but but wait, like people like us, like actual, like people who have to go pay to see it without, and instead of being and getting invited, like we give our official opinion. Um, I think
I'm
that's
sorry. I never answered your other
oh
question.
Finish your
Working in a movie theater. It's really interesting working in a movie theater and having Evil Dead rear its head because I will tell you what, I handle all the posters at work, so I get to see all the really cool prints and all the awesome artwork that we get for these movies. And the people respond to them. They respond to the posters that they see and all these things. They interact with them, and it's one of the big things that makes going to the movies so wonderful.
Mhm.
So when they see Evil Dead Rise and it's very jarring uh promotional campaign, especially with the poster, and we have the Red Band trailer playing at our location on any rated
Ooh.
R
Where
film.
the screen
That's the Red Band
instead of the
trailer.
screen being green, it's a red.
Yep. So that's the one that features the cheese grater scene
Mhm.
where the cheese grater goes flying through the air. I will tell you what, I got to give them props for coming up with new weapons in horror movies that we have not seen.
Oh
Cheese grater has not
god.
been on the list.
All I
No,
think
no.
of Deadpool to the cream cheese spreader.
The cream cheese spreader.
Yes.
Oh
Yes.
god. Well, I'm God, we've been at this for almost 4 hours, this longest podcast. But again, I chose to talk about all the movies, including the series. That's on me.
So much. There's so much to go, especially
There is.
like
I
sequel-wise with
wasn't
these films.
expecting it, and I'm glad you guys were willing to sit through the 4 hours of the damn near 4 hours
Hey,
of this
if I
podcast.
wasn't hungry right now, I would still be going about the series because I love the series that fucking much.
I
Well,
love
this is definitely so. This part one. Oh, by the way, Autumn, I still need to record the script for this week's schedule. If you're still up to that.
Okay. I'll do it. I'll
Well,
do it.
since there's the three of you, if you don't mind, if you want to read one, Montet, if you want to read one, and Lux, if you want to read the one for Saturday, have you
Do you
all
mind
three?
copy and pasting it into the group chat?
Yeah, let me get the one that I sent you real fast. Oh wait, I can't minimize this. I have to actually end this real. Wait, yeah, I have to end this real quick. So real quick, um, Moth Daddy and Autumn, would you like to promote yourselves by letting people know where they can find you on social media?
Go ahead.
Actually, mine's a little easy. Most of my social medias is Moth Daddy Pimp. You can find me on TikTok, Instagram, Twitter. It's Moth Daddy Pimp 69.
Giggity.
Only a little. But yeah, those are some of my socials you can find me in. And then once you find one of those, there's a link tree, sends you to everything.
Not me looking up my usernames. I don't remember it. It changes every day. Okay, so mine, I have Instagram and Twitter, and if you are really spicy OnlyFans, it is XX Kinky Pinky XX. My Twitter and the other account have either an additional X or underscore in there, but you can find me basically on that name.
And Lux, where can people find you on social media if they want to follow you?
Well, you can follow me on Instagram, and you can follow me on Instagram at Lux the Drag Queen, Twitter at Lux the Gourd. If you also want to keep up with what I'm doing and all the wonderful things that we are conjuring up over with my production company, Sisters of St. James Productions, go ahead and give them a follow at SOSJPHAUS. And that is where we put on all our big shows like Scream Queens coming this May. Scream Queens halfway to Halloween. So we're going to be dusting off some of our best Halloween numbers. If you're a SoCal resident, come check us out. It's going to be one hell of a fucking scream.
Oh yeah, and
And
as
this house
mentioned,
does not disappoint at all.
this series is going to be, since this is a 4 hour, this is going to be split into 2 parts. 2 hours for the first one, 2 hours for the second one. I may just show posters of the movies we talk about, because all that editing is going to be a real bitch, and I'm not going to add any scenes. I'm not going to add any scenes from the movie because, one, I don't have a sponsor. Two, that's just a whole lot of fucking research. So you're going to see pictures from the movie, and you're going to see the posters each time we bring up a new thing from. Anyway, thank you all, lovely people, for coming on to this to this. As always, I'm Wayne the Unknown. Until next time, thank you for listening, and as always, thank you for watching.